What's up YouTube? This is Dragon, you're watching Dragon Offroad. In this video I wanted to go through the modifications that I've done to my 1993 DR650 to get it ready for a tour to Alaska. I'm going to be doing a lot of motorcycle camping along the way, so I've done a lot of modifications to make it, get it ready for that. So let's start up here on the dashboard. You see I've got a phone mount right here so I can have my GPS, maps, and everything accessible all the time. I could look at navigation details while I'm on the trail. I've also got an oil temperature sensor that I put in my oil cooler, so that lets me know when the motor's getting too hot. There's also a voltmeter and a USB charger right here so I can see what my battery and my alternator is doing. And I've got some switched power wires there for just some accessories. I've thought about putting clearance lights on the handlebars, like some orange clearance lights, but I don't know. Also added this windshield to the bike. Helps keep the wind kind of above my head so I don't get just beat to death by it on the road. You might also notice the LED headlight. It's a lot brighter. It's probably twice as bright as a halogen, so it helps you with night driving. Added this Fender Bag. I put my rain gear in here sometimes, so it's always accessible. Also got these nice tank bags. I've got my bike toolkit inside here, so it's got all the tools I need to work on the bike. I like to keep earplugs, gloves, snacks, and things in here. Got the drink holder over here. Chain lube. I've got an electrical toolkit in here with a spare CDI and coil pack, so I'm always ready to fix things on the trail. Another thing, I added these highway pegs so you can stretch your legs while you're riding. It's always a problem. Your legs get cramped while you're riding, so that lets you stretch them all the way out and get the blood flowing down to them. I made this bike jack out of a crutch so you can prop your bike up and patch your tube, take the tire off, patch it while the bike's up in the air since it doesn't have a center stand. So that's pretty cool. I added these racks so that I can have my saddlebags across the back, and then this was a stock rack, so I put a duffel bag up top and I can carry a ton of stuff, way more than I need on the trail. I put these tool tubes down at the bottom so I can keep a lot of my weight really low. I put my tire irons in here because they're one of the heaviest tools that I carry, 2 16-inch tire irons. I've got this tow strap made out of mule tape here so I could pull the bike out if I had to, or tow it with another bike. This DG exhaust, I put a baffle in it and a spark arrestor, but it works really well. It's a little noisy, but the baffle cuts down a lot of the high-pitched noise, and it's way lighter than the stock exhaust, so it probably saved me 10 pounds on the bike. So every pound counts when you're out there on the trails. As far as tires go, I'm going with the Shinko 244s. I just really like the tread pattern. I've still got to put the rear one on, but I've got a Tusk D-Sport right now. Just the D-Sports wear down pretty quickly, so I want a tire that's going to last a little bit longer. Another thing I added was a foot on my kickstand. If you've ever ridden in the woods, you know that your kickstand will sink into the dirt and the mud, so you need a wider foot so the bike doesn't just topple over in the woods. I put smaller turn signals on just so they don't get smashed when the bike falls over, because that's definitely going to happen a lot. Probably the biggest mod I did was this oversized plastic gas tank. It's a 6.6 gallon, so that gets me about 320 miles of range. It's really awesome. It's just really heavy when it's full, so on the trail you want to try to not have a full tank, because especially in the mud it gets very top heavy with that tank. I added these bark busters. They also keep bugs and things off of your hands and gloves, but mostly they just protect you if you run your handlebar into a tree or something. It's not going to crush your fingers, break your hand. That'd be really bad. It also acts as a slider, so your handlebar doesn't get stuck in the mud if it falls over. It'll slide on the ground instead of damaging your handlebar. I put different gearing. I did a 14 tooth in the front and a 48 tooth in the back. So 14-48 gearing gets me a much lower gearing, so I can do trails a lot easier, a lot slower. Do single tracks easier because the bike will rev. It'll basically idle up hills and things. Has a lot more torque, but a lower high speed, top speed, which I don't really spend a lot of time anywhere near the top speed of this bike. Mostly I'm doing 65 and below, so I just like having that low end torque. So I went from the 1544, which was the stock, to the 1448. Super awesome so far. I'm loving it. I put a fuel filter in here so I can see that my gas is flowing and get anything that might make it through the petcock filters. Catch that before it gets into the carburetor and clogs my jets. And speaking of the carburetor, I put the extended fuel screw on there in case I need to make any adjustments at altitude. I also did the Dynojet Stage 2 kit with some 1.5-inch holes in the airbox. I put 4 holes in the airbox on the top, right near where the snorkel was. I took the snorkel out, but I jetted it up, and they claim it'll get you 8% more horsepower, so that's super nice to have that much more power to carry all this weight and luggage and everything. Fully loaded up, the bike could be 500 pounds with all the gear on the back, all the camping gear and parts and tools and everything. And then plus me, I'm 185, so it gets to be a lot of weight on the trail. But overall, it's a very capable bike, and yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a good trip, and hope you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe got some ideas for your own bikes. Make sure you like and subscribe to keep getting more content like this. I'm leaving for the trip in a couple weeks, so stay tuned. Alright, dragging out.